everyone, this is Luce Higdon from Crochet Societe, and today I wanted to just make a short tutorial to show you how you can work over your ends as you are working on an overlay mosaic crochet project. For those of you not familiar with overlay mosaic crochet, it is the one row mosaic crochet method, whereas inset mosaic crochet is working with 2 rows. My Harlequin CAL I've designed in the overlay mosaic crochet method, and this is the one that I wanted to demonstrate, just showing how to be able to work over your ends so that your the back of your work will look like this and your edges will look like this. So let's get started. So this next row I'll be working in my color B, Serene, and I want to make sure to anchor my new color and attach it to that first stitch by making a slip stitch, chain 1, and then single crochet, since I'm going to be carrying my color, to make sure it's woven in as I work across. You want to hold it behind your stitch like so. Go under both stitches and that tail you're wanting to weave in, and just make a regular single crochet stitch. And there you know it's not going to go anywhere. So you'll want to continue across your row like this, just making sure to hold that right behind your work here so that it is woven in as you are making your stitches. Any standalone mosaic double crochet stitches like the one I'm making here, you don't necessarily have to worry about anchoring the color in or weaving in the tail. And then of course your single crochet and back loop are gonna definitely help a lot getting that tail woven in, and where you don't have to worry too much about the mosaic double crochet stitches having to do that. But in areas like this where you have 3 mosaic double crochet stitches to work with, let me just show you how I have been able to successfully work and hide that tail. So the first one's not really gonna count. I just call it standalone. It's gonna just stand alone there since it's at the ends, and it's not like a cluster in the middle like right here where there's 3 in that grouping of 5. This one would be standalone, this one would be standalone, and then these 3 would kind of anchor that down. So what I mean by anchor is that you're going to, when you yarn over and then start going into the front loop to make that mosaic double crochet, you're gonna want to make sure that you hold your tail right above the loop where you've just gone into that front loop. Yarn over, and then when you pull through that stitch and continue working on that mosaic double crochet, you'll see that it's actually holding that tail. So that's kind of what I mean when I say the mosaic crochet, double crochet, that's going to anchor that tail for you. And since this is going to be the last mosaic double crochet in this grouping, you're not really going to have to worry again about that one necessarily having to hold that tail in, since you have these single crochet in the back loop stitches here. So let me just show you that really quickly again. So our first mosaic double crochet, we're not really going to have to worry too much about holding that tail for us, but this middle one, you're going to want to make sure to, again, take that tail, hold it right above that front loop you've just gone into, yarn over and pull through, making sure that tail is at the bottom of that stitch. It's surrounded by the yarn, it's going to be secure, and then you complete that mosaic double crochet. And then just work a regular mosaic double crochet. You can see we're coming toward the end of the length here for this tail. I think this will be the last little mosaic double crochet grouping that we'll have to worry about making sure that's anchored into. So you'll continue like this across your row, and then when you get to the end, what we'll be weaving in is this tail from the previous row. And I'll show you how we'll work that in and pull it over and just carry it to the end to make sure that we don't have any pesky ends to have to weave in there. So I'll see you back here in a minute. So we're at the end of our row, and this is the tail from the previous row that we're going to be working into your work, just going toward the last single crochet stitch here. So what you'll do is you'll, just like at the beginning, you'll hold that tail over your work and just make sure that you work over that tail. And you can even do what I'm doing, which is making sure to kind of tuck it back and keep it there. If it warps just a little bit, don't worry about it. I'll show you how we can straighten that out as soon as you finish. So just continue working around that tail. And then just as I demonstrated at the beginning of our row with the first tail we were working with, you'll want to make sure to use the middle stitches of any mosaic double crochet groupings to kind of anchor that tail down as you're working across. And just continue on here till you get to the end. I'll just show you that really quick how to do that. And like I said, if you want, you can just kind of pull on your work a little bit, pull on the fabric, and it should give a little bit so it's not warped by the time you finish your row. So go ahead and work that mosaic double crochet going into that front loop. When you're going into that first loop of this grouping of 3 mosaic double crochet stitches you'll be working with, and then the middle one, again, you'll want to make sure to hold that tail over that loop as you go and pull up your stitch, just making a regular mosaic double crochet. Hold that in the front, yarn over, pull through, continuing to make sure that that middle mosaic double crochet stitch is going to carry and hold that tail in for you. Basically just wanting your stitches to kind of do the work for you as you go across your row here. So we're coming in the last couple of stitches of your row. And then by the time you go into that last single crochet stitch, that tail should be completely woven in. So you see where it's a little bit bunged up here. I'll show you after I cut this tail. So this will be the one that we'll weave in on the next row. Go ahead and cut that row off, and you just kind of want to pull your yarn, or your fabric rather, and make sure that tail doesn't bunge up your work. And so you see it kind of has a little bit of elasticity there for you to be able to ensure that it's not going to look any different from the rest of the fabric that you're making. And that's it. You may have a few ends like this that you need to cut at the end if you don't get them completely woven in as you're working. And all you really have to do is just snip those off like that, and you can tuck your work just a little bit, and you can't even tell it's there anymore. So I hope that this tutorial was helpful, and I hope that you are better able to understand how to weave in your tails as you work in your overlay mosaic double crochet projects and how to weave in your tails as you go. Thank you so much for watching.